Hello, Oracles. Well, how many shares of Tesla stock do you need in order to be able to retire? It's a relatively simple question to answer. Just need to ask yourself, one, what do you need in order to be able to retire? What dollar amount are you looking at? What kind of cash flow generation do you need for retirement? And then you just take a quick look at, well, what price do you think the stock is going to be in the future? And how many shares do you need in order to be able to reach that dollar amount? So in the example I'm going to use today, we are going to use $1 million for Teslanaire status and $1.5 million for retirement. So I broke down, based upon my price targets, how many shares you will need in order to be able to retire at those dollar amounts in the future. So just a quick little disclaimer here. This is a fun exercise. I'm going to be updating this every single month. I update my price targets on a weekly basis over on Patreon if you want to follow over there. Otherwise, I will have these updates out every single month. This is basically my way of sharing all of my price targets through the next 10 years with you guys in a fun manner so that you can see, hey, if we do end up getting to these numbers, maybe I'd be able to retire at that point. This is not to be used for you guys to make any financial future decisions upon. You still need to make sure you are doing your own due diligence and research and making your own financial decisions. Also, the price targets that I have are mostly EV only. I do not have a lot of robotaxi, FSD, energy, AI, Optimus. Much of that revenue I do not have in here because we do not have true numbers yet. A lot of my numbers and price targets are just adjusted with my PE ratio based upon my confidence level on how much I think the company is going to be able to get all these projects to fruition and complete them all. So as the company does begin to solve FSD, get robo-taxis on the road, and we have a better idea of what kind of revenue generation they're going to have, these price targets will most likely be going up. So in some people's cases, this might be a bear case scenario. For me, it's a base case scenario, and it's just based upon, again, mostly EV only revenue. Now, I consider my price targets to be a conservative baseline for the stock price in the future based upon the fundamentals of the company. So if Tesla's saying that they're going to be growing at 50% year over year for the next few years or foreseeable future, that's what I have them set at. So the production growth I have is 50% year over year, trailing off slightly towards the end of the decade, getting to just under 20 million vehicles produced and delivered by 2030. And we know full well that sentiment, FUD, news, market manipulation, many other factors come into play when it comes to the stock price itself. So again, these price targets are just that conservative baseline for where I think the stock price will be at the end of that corresponding year. And the stock price at that time, based upon whatever news and FUD is out there, could potentially swing it higher or lower than my targets. So the first price target is for the end of this year. Now, all of the price targets I'm going to list are post-split. We have the split coming this Wednesday, so all of these numbers are post-split numbers. So end of this year, my price target is $413. That means in order to hit millionaire status, you would need 2,422 shares. And for $1.5 million, you would need 3,632 shares. For the end of 2023, I have a price target of $846. This means for Teslanaire status, you would need 1,182 shares. And for $1.5 million, you would need 1,773 shares. For 2024, my price target is $1,128. That means you would need 887 shares for Teslanaire and 1,330 shares for $1.5 million. 2025, my price target is $1,495. This means you would need 669 shares for Teslanaire and 1,004 shares for $1.5 million. In 2026, I have a price target of $1,746. This means you would need 573 shares for Teslanaire and 859 for $1.5 million. In 2027, I have a price target of $2,085, and you would need 480 shares and 720 shares, respectively. In 2028, my price target is $2,411. You would need 415 and 622 shares, respectively. 2029, my price target is $2,938, and you would need 341 and 511 shares, respectively. In 2030, my price target is $3,669, and you would need 273 shares to hit Teslanaire status and 409 shares to hit $1.5 million. In 2031, my price target is $4,063, and you would need 247 shares and 369 shares, respectively. And in 2032, my price target is currently $4,365, and you would need 229 shares to hit Teslanaire status and 344 shares to hit $1.5 million. And so if you guys want to figure out your own math on this, it's a very basic formula. I basically came up with, the million or $1.5 million. So you guys can take whatever dollar amount it is that you need to retire on, then you figure out whatever your your own price targets are, and then just divide the two. You just divide your price target into your retirement number. You come up with the number of shares that you need. Pretty straightforward. Now, for me to come up with my price targets, I actually do my production first, because for the foreseeable future, I believe that we are going to be selling every single vehicle that we can produce. So production for me is the number one thing to look at, because production is basically going to be the same as deliveries, off a little bit here and there, but in the end, it's basically going to be about the same. So I update my production numbers. Those production numbers then go into my valuation model. That then updates my price targets. Done. Simple as that. And so for me, because I'm a little bit late to the game in investing in Tesla, I need to generate as much as possible when it comes to cash and buying as many shares as I possibly can. I know several of you on here are in the same situation, which is why one of the things I talk about all year long is cash flow generation. The more cash flow I can have coming in, the more shares of Tesla stock I will be able to buy. And it's another reason why I'm also tracking, the daily movements of the stock, trying to buy at the lower prices so that I could buy more for my money. So that's just the way I'm doing it. Obviously, everyone is different, and you've got to do your own due diligence and research. But this is the way I am investing with my own self. So I'm doing the math on how quickly I can accumulate as many shares as possible to speed this up. Now, again, I am also looking at many other revenue streams coming in to be able to retire on. I'm not looking at Tesla to be my only way of retiring. It's just one of the factors that I look at, because to be able to have $1 million in Tesla stock alone is pretty awesome. Being a Teslanaire, it's a pretty awesome status. And retirement means something different for everyone. For me, it means more of doing this. Being out in nature, hiking, sharing my Tesla insights with you guys, spending more time with my family and friends and other loved ones. That is what I see as retirement. For me, the cost of living in retirement is going to be significantly lower. I kind of plan on doing the van life. Have no problems with that. Traveling the country, visiting many of you if you'd like me to visit and stop by, hanging out with all of you guys, hanging out with family and friends all over the country, all over the world. That to me is what retirement is. It's not about not working. It's about doing what I love and living out my passions. And that's what it is for me. Let me know in the pinned comment below. Are you currently a Teslanaire already? How many shares do you need to become a Teslanaire? Based upon this list, what year would you become a Teslanaire or be able to retire? And what is it that you want to do in your retirement? What does retirement mean to you? And last year I did a nice 5-part series breaking down every 2 years for the next decade as far as where I would come up with these price targets, what I think is going to be factored into that, what different projects they are working on, factories that are going to be coming. So I'll be doing another 5-part series, very similar to that, breaking down the next decade, going 2 years at a time. What's coming out? What factories do I see? What is Optimus going to be? Because when I made that video last year, Optimus didn't even exist. So things change. Time to update that forecast. So I will break down that series for you guys. Hopefully within the next month, I will get that out to you. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And again, all of my updated price targets and production forecasts and expenses and income are all down in a Patreon link down below if you guys want to support the channel any further over there. Otherwise, thank you so much. Have a great one.